All right, let's talk. Have you ever looked at your cybersecurity program and just thought, we are doing so much work, but what are we actually achieving? If that sounds familiar, then you're in exactly the right place. We're going to break down how to build a cyber risk management program that doesn't just spin its wheels, but one that actually delivers real, tangible results. And you know, the legendary explorer Ernest Shackleton absolutely nailed it with this quote. It's the perfect way to frame this whole conversation, right? Superhuman effort isn't worth a damn unless it achieves results. It's not about just being busy running assessments or checking boxes. The real goal here is to get outcomes that actually protect the organization. That's it. Which, of course, leads us to the big, frustrating question. Why does this happen? Why do so many of these programs turn into these endless data collection exercises? You know the drill: spreadsheets, reports, meetings, but nothing really changes. It's a cycle so many of us have been stuck in. Well, today, we're going to figure out how to break it. Okay, so first things first, let's diagnose the problem. We're going to dig into why the old school ways of doing things focus so much on effort and totally miss the point when it comes to results. All right, enough about the problem, let's talk about the solution. And here's the twist. The path to a truly effective cyber risk program, it doesn't start with a firewall or a server. Nope, it starts with the business itself. And this is the absolute key, a total shift in thinking. The traditional approach, you jump right into the tech stuff, gap assessments, compliance checklists, you name it. But the effective first step, it's about taking a step back and really understanding the business. Fundamentally, how does your company create value? How does it make money? What actually matters? And there's this great case study that just brings this to life. Imagine this, electronics company, right? They had this one-size-fits-all security plan, and it was just failing. Nobody was buying in. And why? Well, it turns out one factory was churning out low-margin, everyday parts. Another one, they were building high-margin aerospace components with massive intellectual property risks. You can't treat those the same. So the security leader got smart. They tailored the plan to each factory's unique business goals, its profits and losses, its specific risks. And boom, suddenly they got the buy-in, they got the budget. Why? Because it was all about context. So once you really get the business, you're going to see things that need to change. And let me tell you, the biggest hurdle you're going to face, it's not going to be the technology, not even close. It's going to be the people. And that brings us to the all-important human side of this whole equation. There's this fantastic concept called the knowing-doing gap. And man, does it capture the problem perfectly. It's that super frustrating situation where everyone in the room nods and agrees, yes, cybersecurity is critical, we have to do this. And then nothing happens. It's that chasm between knowing what to do and actually doing it. And that gap, it can make an entire organization act like an ostrich with its head buried in the sand. Just hoping the threats will go away if they don't look at them. Our job as leaders is to be the ones who gently, or maybe not so gently, help them pull their heads out of the sand and face reality. So how do you actually do that? Well, you can't just force people. Pushing doesn't work. You have to guide them. And a really powerful tool for this, almost like a secret map, is the Kubler-Ross change curve. It helps you understand the emotional roller coaster people go on during any kind of change. Seriously, once you can pinpoint where someone is on this curve, it's a total game changer. So at the very beginning, you're going to hit a wall of shock and denial. This isn't really happening, or we don't need this. Then once reality sinks in, that's when frustration bubbles up. People get angry. The key here, just be patient and communicate. Communicate. Be super clear, super transparent, and use those real-world business examples we talked about to show why this is so important. After that, you might see a real dip in motivation. This is kind of the low point where people feel overwhelmed, maybe a little hopeless. And that's your cue to offer a ton of support and really spell out what's in it for them. But then you get to the turning point, the experiment phase. This is when people start tentatively trying out the new way of doing things. You have to encourage this like crazy. And finally, you get to the good stuff. People make a conscious decision to get on board. And from there, it's all about integration. That's when the new way just becomes the way. It's baked into the daily workflow, it's normal. And when you see that happening, that's when you know you've actually made it happen. Okay, so we've got the business context down and we've got our map for the human journey. Now it's time to get practical and actually create an action plan. And one of the best tools out there for this is OKRs. That stands for Objectives and Key Results. Now, this is not just another corporate to-do list, okay? It is a super powerful way to set really ambitious, inspiring goals, your objectives, and then get crystal clear on how you'll measure success, your key results. It's how you turn that big, fuzzy strategy into something you can actually track. Now, to really make OKRs sing, you've got to stick to a few principles. Your objectives, they need to be clear and inspirational. Think of it as the where are we going? The key results have to be measurable, no fluff. This is the how do we know we got there? You got to align these across teams so everyone's pulling in the same direction. And finally, don't be afraid to stretch for amazing. Set some goals that feel a little scary. That's how you get incredible results. All right, we've talked business, we've talked people, we've talked planning. Now let's bring it all home and answer the question that's probably on your mind. Okay, this is all great, but where on earth do I start? I mean, really think about that for a second. You've got your destination in mind, you've got a map in your hand, but that very first step you take, it sets the tone for the entire journey. It's all about momentum. So where do you put your foot down first? Here's the secret. Don't pick some easy, low-hanging fruit nobody cares about. No. You find a process that is both absolutely critical to the business and is a total mess right now, a known problem. That is your starting point. It's your golden ticket. Why? Because when you solve a real, painful problem that everyone knows about, you instantly prove your value. You get people's attention. And remember, the whole vibe here is collaboration, not coming in guns blazing. In that collaborative spirit, it is everything. There's this old proverb that just says it all. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. You're not trying to be a lone hero here. To build something that actually lasts, you have to bring people with you. You've got to be united. And this is so important, this entire process. It doesn't start by pointing fingers at other people or launching a big audit of another department. It starts with you. It starts with a really honest look in the mirror, a deep self-awareness of your own position, your own skills, and your own biases. You have to understand yourself first before you can even think about leading other people through a major change. And that really brings us to the final crucial idea. The most complex, the most critical, and honestly, the most unpredictable system you will ever manage, it's not made of silicon and servers. It's made of people. It's their fears, their hopes, their motivations. So the real question I want to leave you with is this: are you ready to lead them?